Have you ever noticed how some people go quiet right after an emotional moment, like a fight, a confession, even a deep hug, and they suddenly need space? Not because they do not care, but because being close feels too loud? You might think, are they shutting me out? But here is the twist. For many people, space is not rejection. Space is regulation. It is their way of keeping the relationship safe and keeping themselves from drowning. So if you have ever been the person who needs distance, or the person left staring at a read receipt, stay with me. Because the psychology behind needing space after emotions is way deeper than I need to think. And once you understand it, you stop taking it personally. You stop chasing. You stop guessing. You start reading people like a map. Here's a quick test. When someone pulls away, do you feel anxious and start writing paragraphs? Or do you feel relieved and start breathing again? That reaction reveals your attachment style too, because space is not just what they ask for, it is what your heart can tolerate in the middle of intensity. Let's decode it. 1. Their nervous system goes into overload. Some people feel emotions like a wave, big, but it passes. Other people feel emotions like a flood. It fills the room. It fills the body. It hijacks the mind. Psychology calls this high emotional reactivity. It is linked to temperament, stress, sensitivity, and sometimes past experiences where emotions were not safe. When someone is highly reactive, even a normal conversation can trigger a full-body alarm. Heart racing, chest tight, thoughts spinning. Not because you are dangerous, but because their nervous system is working overtime. In that state, closeness can feel like pressure, like more input, more demands, more chances to say something wrong. So they pull away to calm down. It is self-preservation, not cruelty. This is why you may notice a pattern. They get emotional, then they disappear. Not for days because they hate you, but for hours because their body is trying to return to baseline. Think of it like this. Your words might be fine, but their nervous system is still hearing sirens. And if you chase them in that moment, even with love, it can feel like more noise. Their brain interprets your messages as stimulation. More stimulation equals more stress. The healthiest move is often the simplest. Give space with warmth. I am here when you are ready. That sentence tells their nervous system, no danger. 2. They fear emotional fusion. There is a difference between intimacy and fusion. Intimacy is closeness with boundaries. Fusion is when someone feels like they are losing themselves inside the relationship. People who need space after emotional moments often have a high need for autonomy. In personality psychology, this can show up in people who are independent, private, or highly self-directed. But sometimes it is not just a preference. Sometimes it is a defense. If someone grew up with unstable attachment, they may have learned that emotions come with consequences. Someone gets angry. Someone withdraws. Someone invades boundaries. Someone makes it about them. So closeness becomes risky. It can feel like a trap. After an emotional moment, the mind goes, if we stay close right now, I might get pulled into something I cannot control. So they create distance to reseparate, to remind themselves, I am still me. You can spot this when they say things like, I just need to be alone, or I cannot talk right now, even if they love you. It is not that they do not want connection. They just want connection without losing oxygen. Here's the cognitive bias that makes this worse. Mind reading. You assume their silence means they are angry. They assume your closeness means you will push. Both people start guessing. Both people start spiraling. The cure is clarity. You can say, do you need space to calm down? Or space because you feel overwhelmed by me? That question is gentle, and it separates regulation from rejection. And if you are the one who needs space, try naming it. I care. I am just overloaded. I need an hour. Then I will come back. That builds trust faster than any apology. 3. They are processors, not speakers. Some people process emotions out loud. They talk, vent, cry, explain, and they feel better. Other people process inward. They need silence. They need time. They need to arrange the chaos into meaning. This is not coldness. It is cognitive style. In psychology, this is tied to reflection, introversion, and emotional intelligence in a quieter form. They are not avoiding feelings. They are trying to understand them. Because if they speak too early, they might say the wrong thing. Or worse, they might say the true thing in the wrong way. So they retreat to think. And here's the part most people miss. The pause is often love. They care enough not to unload raw emotion onto you. But if you interpret their pause as abandonment, you might pressure them to talk now. That pressure can backfire. You get a rushed answer, a half-truth, or a defensive wall. Instead, think of their mind like a browser with too many tabs open. Space is when they close tabs. They come back clearer, calmer, and more honest. A powerful sign of a processor is how they return. They come back with a thoughtful sentence, not a dramatic explosion. They remember details. They explain patterns. They take accountability. That is not distance. That is maturity, just in a different rhythm. 4. They learn that emotion means danger. This is the heavy one. Some people grew up in homes where emotions were punished, mocked, or ignored. Crying was called weakness. Anger was met with anger. Needs were met with silence. So, their brain linked emotion with threat. When an emotional moment happens now, even a healthy one, their body can react like it is back in the old environment. This is classical conditioning. The mind associates emotional intensity with pain. So they escape the intensity. They step away. They shut down. They go numb. This can look like avoidant attachment, but it is often a survival strategy that once worked, and it can confuse the people who love them, because from the outside, it looks like they do not care. But inside, they might care too much. Their mind is not saying, "I do not want you." Their mind is saying, "If I stay here, I might break." This is why emotional safety matters more than emotional pressure. If you want closeness with someone like this, you cannot demand vulnerability like it is a tax. You create a pattern of safety. Calm tone, clear repair. No punishment for honesty, no scorekeeping. Over time, their nervous system learns a new rule. Emotion does not always equal danger. And if you are this person, listen carefully. Needing space does not make you broken. It means your system learned to protect you. The goal is not to stop needing space. The goal is to communicate it so people do not have to guess. 5. They're trying to avoid saying something they regret. Emotional moments can trigger impulsive words. And some people have a strong awareness of that. They know their mouth gets sharp when they are hurt. They know they can say things that cut deep, and once said, you cannot unsay them, so they step away. This is emotional intelligence, especially if they come back to repair. In conflict psychology, a short break can prevent escalation. It lowers arousal. It reduces the chance of reactive aggression. It helps the prefrontal cortex come back online, the part that helps you think long term. But there is a catch. Space becomes unhealthy when it turns into punishment, when it becomes ghosting, when it becomes days of silence with no plan. Healthy space has 3 ingredients: a reason, a time frame, and a return. I am feeling flooded. I need 30 minutes. Then we can talk. That is space, with care. I cannot deal with you. And disappearing. That is space, as a weapon. So if you love someone who needs space, watch what kind of space it is. And if you are the one who needs it, practice the 3 ingredients. It saves relationships. So what is the psychology of people who need space after emotional moments? Sometimes it is their nervous system trying to calm down. Sometimes it is fear of losing themselves. Sometimes it is a quiet processing style. Sometimes it is old conditioning that treats emotion like danger. And sometimes it is a smart pause to avoid damage. The real question is not, why do they need space? The real question is, do they come back? Because healthy space always returns to connection. And if you are the partner, friend, or family member on the other side, remember this: your job is not to chase their silence. Your job is to hold a steady signal, a simple message. I am here. Take the time you need. Let me know when you are ready. That is how you respect their boundary without abandoning your own. And if this video made you feel seen, share it with the person who always says, I just need a minute. Hit subscribe for more psychology that feels like a mirror, and tell me in the comments, do you need space after emotions, or do you need closeness?